Yes, children. Hi. Hello. How are you all? Yes, all are good, isn't it? Yes. Hope you all had a good time. Okay. Yes. Children, do you have a do you have a piggy bank? You know what is a piggy bank? Like a money box where you can collect the money from your parents or your relatives or your uncle or aunties. If they give some money, you collect it and you make it safe. I mean, to store it safe, you can put it in a piggy bank or a money box, isn't it? To keep it safe, isn't it? Yes. So do you have that habit of collecting money and keeping it safe, and after the money box gets full, you will take all the money and you can buy something that you wish for, or you can give your best friend a birthday gift, isn't it? Yes. So when you travel through the roads, isn't it, on roadside you can see people selling this kind of money box made of clay pots. You can see clay pots. Have you seen? Earlier days people used to store water in these kind of pots. Summer and all, when it is so hot, when we drink water from this pot, it is so cool. In clay pots, water becomes so cool, and people used to drink water from these kinds of clay pots. Villages and all, you can see this kind of clay pots. You know who makes these pots using clay? You know, from shops nowadays, different colors of clays are available, and children makes different models using clay, isn't it? Yes. So actually, you know, how this clay is made. We see mud and water, they mix both and they make clay, and people makes pots. So the person who make pots using clay, they are called potters. Potters makes pots, or clay pots we say. So today we will learn about this potters and how they makes the clay pots and different types of clay pots and what are the uses and all. Along with that, we will learn about textiles also, different kinds of textiles. Okay, so today our topic is pottery and textiles. Pottery and textiles. Textiles. Pottery and textiles. Lesson 19. Pottery and textiles. Okay, children? Yes. Here again we can see Ratika and Mihika. They are talking something. Yes. Hi Ratika. Do you know what can we make with wet clays? Using wet clay, what all things we can make? Do you know? So Radhika is telling, yes Mihika, we can make mugs, pots, statues and many other objects from wet clay. So using wet clay, Radhika is telling we can make mugs, statues and many other objects and pots also. Yes, so they know that she knows that using wet clay we can make all these items. So now we'll learn about pottery, his wheel, potter's wheel, and the pots he make and uses of clay pots, clothes and textiles. So first is pottery. 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 Okay. Early men never stayed at one place. Early men, the people, those who live in caves and all. Early men, they lived in caves. Those days no homes was there for them and no clothes also for them. They used to wear skin of animals and leaves to cover the body. So those early men, okay, those who lived in caves, they never stayed at one place. They were nomads. What do you mean by nomads? Nomads means the people, those who travel every time. Okay, someone who lives by traveling from one place to another. Someone who lives by traveling from one place to another. Nomads, they are nomadic in nature. Early men were nomadic in nature. They were nomads, always traveling from one place to another. They never stay at particular place. When they started practicing agriculture, later slowly they started practicing agriculture. They started making cultivating plants and all. They started doing that. When they learned that, they started doing that. They felt the need for vessels to store grains. When they cultivate crops, what happened? Wheat, rice and all, they wanted to store it. After cultivation, when they started agriculture, after cultivating these things, they have to they have to store it in a particular place, or they have to put it in something and they have to store. So they felt the need of vessels. So they made pots by hollowing the wet clay. Then they got the idea of making pots. How they made the pots? By using wet clay, mud and sand, water, everything they mixed and they using that wet clay they made pots. By making long snakes of clay, while they are making, they make long snake shaped clays they will make, and with that they make different kinds of shapes. Arranging them, they make a pot, different kinds of varieties of pot by arranging them. Coiling them into shapes means by arranging them into different shapes of pots. They were put out in the sun. Using wet clay they are making pots. So then they have, after making pots, they have to dry it, isn't it? Yes. So how they used to dry these pots? They were put out in the sun, hot sun. Under the sun they used to keep this, and or on an open bonfire to dry them. Open bonfire, large fire built in open air. They build fire, and they keep this pots and otherwise under the hot sun, and they used to dry this wet pots made of wet clay. So then this pots, the use of pots, when they realize they need some pots or vessels to store grains, they made pots. So from that day onwards, clay pots came. Okay, so early men, when they started agriculture, they felt the need of storing grains in vessels, so they made pots with wet clay, and they dried in the sun or in the open bonfire to dry it, and they made pots of different shapes. Then now potter's wheel. This is how pots came into being. Okay, now potter's wheel. Wheels have made our lives much easier, isn't it? Early men, they invented wheel. So afterwards, gradually steam engine etc. were invented, and our life became easy when they invented wheel, because vehicles, transports, because of means of transport, we can travel from one place to another very easily. So wheels changed our life. A potter's wheel has a round, flat, wooden surface that can spin while the potter shapes and the wet clay on it. You can see the image of a potter making pots. Yes, can you see the image? Yes. How? Actually, you can see a wheel there. It's a potter's wheel, we say. It spins. Okay. Potter's, which has a round, flat, wooden surface. It is made of wood. Flat, round, that can spin when potter shapes the wet clay on it. Wet clay, he put it on that wheel and he spin it. Okay. Then he makes shapes. Potter makes the shapes of pots by spinning the wheel. Pottery includes pots, diya, bowls, dishes, etc. Pottery means what? Not only pots. Diya for Diwali festival. People decorate their houses with diyas. Inside we light the lamp, isn't it? They will lit, isn't it? Yes. So diya. Then bowls we use. Potters make bowls also with clay. Dishes we can make. So not only pots, pot, diya, bowls, dishes, etc. Pottery means all these items are there. Diya is so famous, isn't it? You know very well about diya. Yes, clay is mixed with water to make a duff. So how they are making this? First they have to make a duff. How clay and water they will mix. Once the duff is kneaded well, kneaded means with hands they will mix it thoroughly. That is called kneading. So once the duff is kneaded well, it is put on the wheel. Yes, then potter will put it on this kneaded duff on the wheel. That wet clay, water, everything mixed thoroughly with hand. Like chapati, when your mother makes chapati with the wheat, how she will make? First she will mix the powder with some water. Then she will mix it properly using hand. She will knead it many times. She has to mix it thoroughly and she has to knead it. Yes, same way here the potter after kneading he put it on the potter wheel. The wheel is rotated fast for some time. Yes, now the wheel he starts to rotate it, but for fast he rotates for some time. The potter gives shape to the rotating clay duff. While doing this, when this wheel is rotating fast, what happens? Yes, this time this potter he shapes it with his hands. He shapes it. Once the vessel is shaped and is ready, it is separated from the wheel by using a thin wire. Now the thing is shaped, the vessel is shaped. Which shape he want, he will shape it. When the wheel is rotating, he shapes it. After shaping it, when it is ready, he will separate it from that wheel using a thin wire. So this is the way how a potter make pots. First clay, water, he mix it, he make a duff. Afterwards he kneads it. After kneading thoroughly with hands, he put it on the potter's wheel and he rotates the wheel for some time very fast. During this time he shapes this vessel with his hands. Once the vessel is shaped, when it is ready, he will separate it from using a thin wire. From the wheel he will separate it using a thin wire. So this is how a potter makes a pot, a clay pot or a clay vessel. The pot is dried. Afterwards we have to dry it, isn't it? Yes. Now he made the pot. It is wet actually. Now we have to dry it. The pot is dried in the sun or placed in fire to make it hard. Yes, that already we have seen, isn't it? Earlier how they used to dry the wet clay pot, isn't it? Under the sun or in the bonfire. Same here also, potter will keep the pot that he made, that he shaped under the sun or in the fire. He will put, why? To make it so hard. It should be hard, otherwise it will break soon. So to make it hard, he places it in the fire. The pots are decorated with different designs. Yes, these pots we can decorate also. Using different designs we can using different designs we can decorate the pots. Glazing is done to smoothen the pottery and make it waterproof. So after drying, we can design it and even we can give some glazing to make it more soft and to make it waterproof. Means waterproof means if we put water in that because of putting water it should not get any problem. So he'll make it waterproof. He'll dry it, make it waterproof. He'll design it. He will smoothen it by giving some glazing. You can see different pot images there. Using clay, different pots are made there and different images you can see of pottery here. Okay, some bowls, some pots, etc. Yes. Now we will see Now though you learned about different there are different kinds of pot made with clay, and now we learn about the uses of clay pots. So potter's wheel, using potter's wheel, potters make pots, clay pots. Yes. So after making pots, they will sell in the market. People buy these pots. And why people are buying these pots? What are the uses of these pots? Yes. Pottery is used for various purposes. In villages, milk is boiled in clay pots. See, nowadays we boil milk, how that you know, in a small vessel we will boil the milk, not in pots actually, isn't it? We have different kinds of utensils available in this modern days. We have different kinds of utensils are there, but in villagers use clay pots to boil milk. Curd is prepared in earthen pots. Curd is set in earthen pots. Then plants are grown in clay pots. Yes, that we can here also we can see, not only in villages, here also we can see plants in pots, this kind of clay pots. But nowadays different color pots are available other than clay also, but usually we plant trees, we plant this plants are grown. People grow plants in the pots only made of clay. And many dishes like kheer and kulfi are cooked in earthen pots. Yes, these kind of pots, dishes also we can cook, especially kheer, kulfi. Kulfi ice cream is available in ice cream shops. There you can see kulfi ice creams and this kind of kheer in earthen pot they'll sell. Okay, yes. Then to give them a particular taste, in that the taste is very special. So that's why this kheer and kulfi they are making an earthen pot, because it gives special taste. We use earthen pots, surhi and matka. You can see the image of surhi and matka here. Surhi and matka. So we use these to store water in summer. Yes, these kind of earthen pots are good to store water in summer. In summer, if we drink water from this earthen pots, cool water it will be, so cool. Yes. Some people use hookah, H-U-K-K, hookah made of clay, in which they burn and smoke tobacco. Hookah means what? H-U-K-K, hookah. We say it's hookah. In villages, village you can see it's a water pipe actually for smoking, a pipe for smoking tobacco. A big pipe in a pot shape actually, with a pipe in it. People smoke tobacco through that. So it's called hookah. Some people use hookah made of clay, in which they burn and smoke tobacco. Diyas that are lit during Diwali are made of clay. That already we have seen. No, clay clay diyas are available, especially in Diwali festival. We lit this clay diyas, isn't it? Yes, to decorate our houses. Yes, so these are the uses of clay pots. So what are the uses of clay pots? Uses of clay pots. What are the uses? Yes, villages use clay pots to boil milk. Then kheer, kulfi, they prepare these dishes in this earthen pot. In summer season, we can store water in this kind of earthen pots. Then plants are grown in clay pots. Then clay diyas are available during festival, Diwali festival. To decorate our houses, we use diyas. Then some people use hookah made of clay, in which they burn and smoke tobacco. In villages we can see this kind of hookahs where people use to smoke. A water pipe is there in that pot, and people use it for smoking. Yes, so these are the uses of clay pots, isn't it? So far we learned about pots made of clay and how the potters using potter wheel makes clay pots. First they mix mud and clay together in water, and they mix water and mud and they prepare a dough and they knead it. After kneading, they put this on the potter's wheel, and potter will rotate it fast for some time, and this time he shapes the vessel with his hands. After shaping, once it's done, he remove it, separate it from the wheel using a thin thread, and he make different shapes of pots using this, and after that he will dry it under the sun or placing in the fire to make it hard, and he give different designs for that. For smoothing, he gives some glazing. Glazing is done for smoothing the pots, and give designs, and he will make it waterproof. Now different varieties of pots are available, and people use this clay pots for boiling milk in villages especially, then to store water in summer, then diyas we use for decorating our houses during festival Diwali. So some dishes we prepare in this kind of earthen pots. Plants are grown in the earthen pots. So there are number of uses other for this kind of clay pots.